One of the biggest idols in the world today isn't made of stone, and you may be worshiping it right now without even realizing it. So if I told you that idol worship never actually disappeared, it just changed its shape, would you believe me? Thousands of years ago, people gathered around a golden statue, believing that it could give them something that God could not. And today, we like to think we're more advanced than that. Well, more educated or more aware than that. But if we're honest with ourselves, the truth is that the story hasn't really changed. The only thing that changed is the idol. There's a story in the Holy Quran about the people who followed Prophet Musa. These were not ignorant people. These were people who had witnessed miracles with their own eyes. They saw the sea split. They had seen oppression fail. They had seen God's power in ways most human beings never ever will. And yet, when Prophet Musa left them for just a short time period, something very strange happened. A man convinced them to gather their gold, melt it down, and create a calf. A statue, something shiny, something that they could look at, something that they could point to and say, that's what we worship. Now think about that for just a moment. These people knew about God. They had seen his power. They believed in him. But somehow, that still wasn't enough for them. They wanted something physical, something visible, something they could stand in front of. And that moment reveals something very deep about human nature. Human beings often struggle with the unseen. Faith requires patience. Faith requires trust. Faith asks you to believe in something greater than what your eyes can measure. But idols are easier. Why? Because they're visible. Idols feel immediate. Idols give the illusion of control. And that's why the story of the golden calf isn't just about ancient history. It's actually a warning about something that still happens today, unfortunately. Because today we don't gather around statues made of gold, but we do gather around other things. Like, for example, we gather around money, around status, around validation, around the idea that our value comes from what we own, how much we produce, how successful we appear to others. And then slowly, without realizing it, those things start to take the same place in our hearts that idols once took in the hearts of people long ago. Think about the pressure young people feel today. You must succeed. You must build something. You must earn more. You must have more. You must constantly show the world that you are progressing, achieving, accumulating. And if you're not, people start to look at you very differently. It's almost like society has created a system where everyone is chasing something, but then very few people stop to ask why. Why are we chasing it? Who told us that this is what life is supposed to be about? The people in that ancient story believed the golden calf could give them security, stability, something to rely on. But idols always promise more than they can deliver. And that's something we still see today. People reach the money they wanted, the success that they dreamed of, the recognition they chased for years, and yet many of them still feel empty. And that's because the soul was never designed to worship things. The soul was designed to worship God. And when that balance is lost, something inside a person will always feel unsettled. That's why the Holy Quran tells stories like this. And it's not to shame the people of the past, it's to show us something about ourselves. Because if we're honest, each generation has its own version of the golden calf. Something shiny, something everyone is chasing. Something that society tells us will finally make us feel fulfilled. But the deeper lesson of that story is that true freedom begins the moment a person realizes that they don't have to bow to those things, when your worth is no longer tied to what you own, when your identity isn't built on how much approval you receive from the world, when your sense of purpose comes from something higher than the system that was placed around you. That's when a person begins to feel a different kind of peace. Because idols, what is it that they demand? They demand constant sacrifice. But faith gives meaning to your life without demanding that you lose yourself in the process of it. So the story of the golden calf, that's not really about a statue that existed thousands of years ago. It's not just about that, but it's about a question that still exists today. What are the things in our lives that quietly took the place where God should be? Because the truth is, whatever holds the most power over your heart is what you are truly serving. And sometimes the most dangerous idols, they are the ones that society convinces us are completely normal.